All the wands we had like a terrible refresh time on them. That's almost better than what we were running with. I still feel like I haven't found my pizza joint in Richmond. I found a pizza joint that does okay, but I'll be honest with you, like, the pizza's real floppy. Going on over here. Just ready for all that oil to be gone. Bloodfire. Yeah, I found a pizza joint that does a thinner pizza, which I find that I enjoy. But its crust doesn't hold up against the toppings and gets real mushy. Real floppy and soft, which makes it difficult to, you know, pick up a slice, fold it in half, and just stuff it in your face. Which is an important characteristic. I'm on fire. I need a piece of pizza that, supports its own weight when I pick it up to jam it into my maw, you know? But I've just kind of, I also feel like I've just kind of gotten way over, like, Domino's and certainly Papa John's. I don't remember the last time I had Pizza Hut. Make sure you get some pizza the next time you're in St. Louis, Taffy. We love us some thin crust here. Yeah, like, I like, you know, I get down. I get down with a good, like, deep dish pizza. I get down with a good Chicago or Detroit style pizza. If I'm in the mood for it, and it's got to be made by somebody who makes it well. Because I feel like a bad deep dish pizza, because of how much grease there is, because of how much, like, of an oily buildup there can be in that much bread, that a bad deep dish pizza is so much worse than a bad thin crust pizza for sure. I won't get a thicker crusted pizza or a deep dish pizza from any place that I don't know is reputable, because I just don't want to waste the calories on basically eating oily bread. Pizza Hut's refusal to actually cook their pizza is infuriating. The better Chicago pizza is actually the lesser known thin crust. I have a Vocelli's, which is pretty good if a bit greasy. Bad deep dish might as well be eating soup. Yeah. Yeah, it becomes like a greasy pizza lasagna. Oh, you're still alive. Why are you here? Thin crust St. Louis style is solid? I didn't even know St. Louis had a solid. Now I'm intrigued. I love hearing insider food takes from cities. That makes me super happy. I love feeling like I'm in the know. Chat, can we go ahead and give Noah the business? Now, granted, this was because he was working really hard. But Noah spent a big portion of a day in Philadelphia and got neither a cheesesteak nor a roast pork. He had one job. One job. If he's gonna be in Philly, I needed him to get either a cheesesteak sandwich or a roast pork from somewhere. I would also not get those. Are you like Amber? We've worked, it's been like therapy, but I've worked on the fact that she at one point was also allergic to flavor. It's been trying. It wasn't as bad as chemo, but it's been a long and arduous process, and together she and I feel like have really ironed that out. I don't like pork at all. The pig's a magical animal, so like no pork chops, no pork tenderloin, no bacon, no ham, no guanciale. No prosciutto. And the cheesesteaks are beef anyway. Just bacon. Bacon is the only good part of the pig. Wow. That is. That Normally I'm a very live and let live opinion kind of person, and obviously this is not real so much as it's a bit, but man, that is that is objectively wrong. That's just oh, like I can't even come with you on this as a thought journey or as an academic exercise. I don't even like pork that much. You know what I mean? Like it depends. God, it just depends. It's such a versatile animal. I don't like pork chops that much. I'm not crazy about tenderloin unless you give me like a good sauce or a good rub on it. I'll still eat them. But yeah, chashu, like all the shit the Chinese do with pork is fucking ridiculous. The shit the Italians do with pork sausages, guanciale, carnitas. God, I didn't even think about what the Mexicans do to pork. Crime and netly, the Mexicans do pork magic. And I don't like steak. Oh my God. My mom says I was raised by wolves. No, because wolves would absolutely eat pork and steak. What is your mom talking about? And mushrooms are gross. Are you in that same boat as Amber, where you're just excited for food to take on its pill form so that you no longer have to chew or taste anything? Are like calorie-dense capsules that just expand in your stomach? I can kind of get mushrooms. I didn't like mushrooms for a really long time. It wasn't until my taste buds kind of grew up. And it wasn't until I like at one point, when the first time I tasted truffle, I was like, that fucks. And if other mushrooms are just dialed back versions of that, then I will eat other mushrooms to get the eensy beensy teeny weeny taste of that. I will say, Shauna, that I didn't care for Pats and Geno's. I feel like I hold the same opinion as a lot of Philly locals did, which was the best cheesesteak that you had was likely your local place, like your little local neighborhood sandwich shop. If you wanted a commercially successful one that everyone knew about, the most decent one in my mind was Jim's on South Street. Was pretty serviceable. But otherwise, whenever we wanted cheesesteaks, we'd always just do this local place on Pine Street, little Pine Street sandwich shop. God, then there's the shit the Cubans do with pigs. The Cubans do magical things with pigs. I could kind of get mushrooms. Mushrooms, you know, if you've had some bad experiences with mushrooms, I could see writing those off. I didn't like mushrooms for a really long time. Damn, did I ever come around though? I can't see writing off all pork except for bacon. pork belly? That's just different bacon. That's the exact same cut of meat cooked a different way. Yeah, the fucking Cubano. Fuck, I would destroy a Cubano right now. Oh. Yeah, fucking the Pacific Islanders do a fucking amazing luau pig. I gotta imagine, I've never had it. I can just, like, my mouth waters thinking about the crunchy skin on it. Pineapple juice on pork. Oh my god, get the fuck out of here. That sounds amazing. Do magical things with pigs is not the best way to phrase that. I refuse to walk it back. That's putting your weird hangups on me. I know exactly what I meant, and I guarantee you foodies knew exactly what I meant. If you got some weird I went to the wrong part of the internet bullshit rattling around inside your head at some point in time, that the first thing you think about is fucking the pig, listen. I've driven through the South. I feel like over time you can beat that. But the rest of us are over here daydreaming. The rest of us are over here daydreaming about, like, peppered bacon and fucking luau pig. Christ. Dumplings? Dumplings! Pork and ginger soup dumplings. Oh. Pork and ginger soup dumplings. Gyoza. Mugugai pan. All of the internet is the wrong part. Agree? So I'll give you a across the internet fist bump on that one. I just read K-Streep's comment. Echo, add ginger and pineapple juice to the grocery shopping list. That's right, if you were looking for my house, if you were looking to dox me and you're just like, I'm not sure which house it is, it's the house where some dude just screamed soup dumplings at the top of his lungs. Oh, shit. Sure, I guess. Oh my god, I am on fire still. Okay. Maybe the cocksock is not what I carry around. Maybe I find some water and get rid of this bad boy right after I set all the wood on fire here. I fucking adore muffalettas. I could, like, Crumba, I totally, if somebody came to me and said I don't do muffalettas, I get it. I get it, because that olive tapenade, you gotta like olives, and olives can be kind of a tough sell. But I fucking adore a muffaletta. I actually want to say that at one point I was going through and doing my books. There's nothing under here. They don't normally do that. At one point I was going through and doing my books. And one of my receipts from Grubhub was a muffaletta that apparently y'all talked me into getting. I freaking can't even remember from where. If I had to reorder that again, I wouldn't even know where that came from. Olives were an acquired taste for me. I picked it up over time. When I was a kid, I used to enjoy eating the black canned olives. I couldn't eat a lot of them, but I did find that I enjoyed the you know, the pitted out of the, was it black pearls or black diamonds? The pitted canned olives. I could eat a couple of them before they get a little too oily for me over time. What really got me, though, was bartending. When I was bartending, there were huge swaths of time where I wouldn't have anything to eat. And I'd get super hungry, and one of the only things that I would be able to grab and stuff in my mouth was bar olives. And at first, I hated them. I hated how, like, oily and kind of, like, oily, like, that combination of, like, oily and almost chalky they would be, that's the squishy, oily, and then blended with being ridiculously salty, the bar olives, at least. And I would eat them out of necessity. But I gotta admit that over time it grew on me, like, a lot. Ow, fuck, that's acid, Taffy, you idiot. It's not acid anymore. Ow, prick. I'm trying to rob your corpse. There we go. I do black olives, but not green. I also don't do blue cheese. Blue cheese is one of those things that I picked up in restaurants. Working in a French brasserie, there were a lot of, like, charcuteries that wouldn't get finished, and the stuff that people hadn't touched just became... If somebody got a charcuterie and didn't finish it, and it looked like they hadn't thumbed everything, we absolutely would take it in the back, put it in a to-go box, and set it in the fridge. And then doing shift drink at the end of the day. We'd all get our beer, cut up some day-old baguette that was going to go in the garbage anyway. And sit back in the little employee break area. And almost all of those, a lot of the times, the cheese that would be left alone would be the blue or the Roquefort. And when that along with some cured ham, there it is again, that magical animal, the pig. When all that's on there is like Roquefort and blue and cured ham, and you're fucking starving and you're drinking a beer that pairs well with all that shit, you get real tolerant real quick of what you will and won't learn to like. And I gotta admit, like, nobody else in my family, certainly nobody else in my family eats blue cheese. But I've grown to kind of adore it. Oh, that's right. I ordered a muffaletta and they sent me something else. Did they send me like a Cuban or something? Shit, I'd forgotten all about that. Do you remember what they sent me? I ordered a muffaletta, but they sure as shit did not send me a muffaletta, which explains why I can't remember if it was good or not. And I never don't remember if food isn't good or not. I never forget a meal. Yeah, it's one of those things where people tell me they don't like blue cheese or goat cheese. And I get, that makes sense. I get it. It's certainly not the same as I don't eat pig and I don't eat steak. Oh, are you a vegetarian? No, I just don't like the way good things taste. Mushrooms I can see. Goat cheese and blue cheese I can see. People not liking that. I don't remember what they sent you, but it sure as shit didn't have an olive tapenade on it. Fuck, now I want a muffaletta. Ugh! A pig is a filthy animal, and I don't eat filthy animals. Pigs wallow in their own filth. I don't eat something that doesn't have sense enough to get out of its own feces. Honestly, raw beef can have kind of an off-putting smell to it, especially like hamburger that's been in the fridge for a couple of days. Like, I'm not talking bad hamburger. For those of you going like, oh, well, Taffy just has a tendency to eat fucking rotten food. Yeah, okay, listen, I've had some dodgy judgment. It's mine. It's mine. I've had some real dodgy judgment in the past, I'll own up to that, as far as like eating. Yeah, listen, food scarcity was a thing for me. All that being said, though, I'm just gonna move this. There we go. Even hamburger that's still perfectly good, or steaks that have been in the fridge for a couple of days, they do get kind of a woof about them. My ex didn't like pork, but she loved ramen, bacon. Basically just didn't like chashu ramen, bacon, just didn't basically like pork chops. I also am not crazy about pork chops. I'll eat a good one. I just feel like I've had a lot of, not bad, but pretty uninspired pork chops in my day. And they were meals in my mind that weren't even really worth the effort of chewing. Not a great wand, even. I've had a lot of real mediocre pork chops. I've had a couple of really good pork chops too, if I'm being honest. That's the one that made, that's what made me realize I don't full stop hate pork chops. I hate bad pork chops for sure. There's a lot of bad pork chops. Like 1950 style Betty Crocker, thin cut, quickly dredged in flour, fried up so that they taste almost like squishy. I have had people march out pork chops that were basically pork ribeyes, and that shit was a whole different ballgame. Pork and seeds. We were talking about pork and seeds the other day. I thought that shit was like some super white people stuff that only happened in Idaho, because that's the only place I'd ever really seen them. But apparently, like, I found it at the Japanese grocery store up in Seattle, and I was like, oh, cool, this is a thing. Oh my god. I would destroy this entire plate. I like, later on when I shit, it would be reassembled. Our local Chinese place in Jerome, Idaho did this, and we got it with every meal. It's just this, like, smoked Chinese barbecue pork that gets cut real thin. And that edge is, like, it's a combination of, like... Yeah, it's a lightly sweet... It's like a lightly sweet smoked pork that you slice pretty thin. It gets covered, well, mine didn't get covered with, yeah, mine came like this. It looked like this, but came like this. And it would come with essentially spicy mustard and sunflower seeds, and you would dip it in the spicy mustard and then dab it in the sunflower seeds, and then you would eat it. It was ridiculously good. So easy to eat. Oh, yeah, this shit. Oh, meat candy. Meat candy. That mustard was so hot, it would tear me up. It was so horseradishy, it would tear me up. And then the nuttiness that would come off the sunflower seeds, or the sunflower seeds, sesame seeds. The nuttiness that would come off the sesame seeds, dynamite. Such a simple thing. But my buddy Trevor and I would eat it until we were sick. Did you make it to the gym today? Nope, I sure didn't. If I go, I'm gonna have to go tonight. I'm really struggling with that recently. If I'm being real with you, I'm having a real rough go of trying to get my fat ass in the gym recently, and I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm having a real tough time with that. Sorry, yeah, sesame seeds. Hot mustard and sesame seeds. It's my gold, use it when I need it. No, Bumbarian, I appreciate you asking. Fuck me. I want to so bad. It's an excuse, but the sleep schedule. The sleep schedule is so difficult to sort. I want to see if that even made a dent. There are a few things I hate in the world more than I hate working out while sleepy. But I just can't, I can't figure out how to get myself into bed at 8:30 at night and then genuinely be deeply asleep by 9 or 9:30. But the problem, like the lone problem I find with after work, El Pablo, is that I usually have a gut full of dinner. Which maybe that's just my penance. Maybe that's my incentive. I don't gorge. But if I'm still hungry, I'll go back and get a second half plate. You know? Or if I really enjoyed it and I'm not particularly hungry, I'll go back and get a little spoonful of everything that I like for one more little go round. I don't often, like, I'm guilty of gorging when I order out. If we get like 2 pizzas, I have a tendency to eat probably 2 more slices than I need to eat. If we get Chinese food, I'll do 2 full fuck-off plates. When I really only needed 1 because it was already so heavy I had to carry it with 2 hands. Something about takeout. I have bad impulse control issues. But that being said, when I cook, I make food that tastes really good. Not every single dinner, but most of them are really, I make really good food. I'll eat my plate. I may go back and get a little bit more if I decide that I enjoyed it. But I don't often gorge on my own food. But that said, I still, one of the last things I feel like doing at the end of my day is, taking that gut full of delicious food and going to work out. How many numbers can someone look at before they go crazy? Also, how do y'all feel about Terry's chocolate oranges? I like Terry's chocolate, oh my god. I like Terry's chocolate oranges. I do feel like I got a little bit burnt out on them because I told folks that I'd never had Terry's chocolate oranges or Jaffa cakes. And because chat is chat, the next thing that I knew that happened. I don't know. The next thing that I knew that happened was that I was sent pallets of Terry's chocolate oranges and Jaffa cakes. And even as much as I learned that I enjoyed the flavor of citrus and chocolate, there's only so many of them a man can eat before he gets kind of burnt out. Yeah, Cletus, I mean, I have a whole packet from Pat on body weight workouts. It's just, it's not that I'm not armed with the information. I lack the discipline. If we're laying our cards out on the table, there are a lot of days where I lack the dedication and I lack the motivation, which leads to a decline in discipline or 0 discipline whatsoever. Prep that plate and put it in the fridge for after the workout. I love food when it's fresh more than I like a body that looks fit. Boy, I would lose weight because I would be depressed. I work for an hour and a half on a meal, get it off the stove, and immediately refrigerate mine so I can microwave it later. Every meal I have in a 24-hour cycle is all microwave food or cold food. I used to have a really terrible relationship with food. It's taken me years to figure out how to listen to my body when it's full and not eat more. Yep. It's like some of this I think, like we joke about the food scarcity thing, but some of this does kind of relate back to that. I've told stories about how we'd go to like Red Lobster after going to church with my parents. And when everyone got up to leave, if there was food on everybody's plates, I would stay and eat everyone's plate clean. because I didn't know when I was gonna get like restaurant quality food again.
Yeah, those are bits.
My parents once took us to Sizzler for all-you-could-eat shrimp, and they had to like put their hand on my hand and tell me no more, because I was on like refill plate of all-you-could-eat shrimp number 6. I'm not that bad anymore. But it's been a very long time since I've been so fit that even good food has been like fuel in my brain. And once the tank is full, I just stop putting it in. Noah drops 100 bits and says, I have the schedule, I have the promotions list. We'll be going to more than this, but here's the can't miss games for us next season that we have to go to. March 30, opening day versus the Braves. April 15th versus Cleveland. May 20 versus the Tigers. July 7th and 8th versus the Rangers. We're getting an overnight room. July 22nd versus the Giants. And August 12th versus the Athletics. This gives us max bobblehead and good game coverage. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Chat, that reminds me. I'm gonna go down and get something to drink here pretty soon, I think. I think I'm gonna go down and get a green coffee fueler. We've talked about it too much, and now I need it. The 15th. Oh, that would potentially... Both the Dallas Stars games I want to go to would potentially fall during a subathon. Listen, Noah and I may start this subathon on Monday, chat, but I need it to fail by Wednesday, okay? Thanks. Or I could just not go to either one of these Stars games that are close to me. Ugh. Take us with you to the game. Yeah, that doesn't open up any legal liabilities. That Justin just streams out in public blows my mind. I see IRL streamers that catch other people's faces in the crowd, and I just cringe, because it's such a legal liability, and it opens you up to, like, things like just having some random fucking stranger decide that they want to get in your face. Just record your face and not the game? Okay, so you want me to get, like, a harness and have the phone here, and then I can, like a halibut, just angle my eyesight around it. Maybe I should just dial it back and put my nose down and go to work. Uncle Noah said I had to ask you if I can come to your suite. I tell you what, he gets us a suite, Torin. You're welcome to come sit with us. I guess. Sorry, fish. That makes me feel bad. Wait, do I want a diggy wand? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Wanted to see if that would blow it up. Oops. That feels good. Freezing those little rat bastards so that they can't get me. Feels awfully good. Knocking all this stuff out of the air and just dealing with it while it's on the ground feels awesome. These guys are such pains in the ass on this floor. I guess the good thing about the whole hockey game situation, though, is as fired up as I may have been for that, it sure sounds like my kids couldn't have given two shits. So at the very least, I feel like I'm not letting them down. I feel like Rory was doing it so that he could get his hands on, good ramen. Even with the ramen, Grayson was like, yeah, I got no fucking interest whatsoever. Sorry, old man. It's an okay digging wand. This digging is laborious. It does have a beat. I can dance to it. It's still better than the song Love Power. Yeah, K-Stroop, that's like... That was kind of my take, too. That's what surprised me, I think, the most out of all that was not that my boys were like, oh, Dad, we don't know anything about hockey, so we don't know whether or not we'd even be interested in something like that. It was that as a kid, I was always looking for any excuse to get out of the house and do something. And so, like, I didn't think I was into basketball. Then my dad was like, do you want to go to a game? And I was like, yeah, I'll go to a game. I'd never been to a basketball game in my life. I can't move. I'm fucking suffocating. Can I stand the fuck up, please? Yeah, anytime my dad was like, hey, do you want to go to a game, whether it was the Cowboys or the Rangers or the Mavericks or whoever, I knew there was going to be food. I knew that the atmosphere was going to be cool, like it was going to be like a carnival. And generally speaking, even if the game was a big, dull bust, I generally felt like I had a good time just being outside the house. It just kind of bums me out that if I'm relatively certain, and I guess not surprised, that my kids are genuinely completely content to just like stay home and watch YouTube over almost any activity that doesn't involve going to an arcade to play video games outside the house. Our houses were much more boring when we were kids. That's also true. I had like, you know, at any given time, like 6 halfway decent video games that I'd already played about as much as there was to be played on them. Now you have an actual pinball machine in your house. The kids don't play it anymore. The kids only ask to play pinball when I revoke all their other screen privileges. The kids only ask to play pinball when they're being punished and Switches and YouTube are taken away from them. And Roblox. I don't have anything that just blasts the loose gravel. Or the coal, I mean. No, I don't think my kids are not, I should probably be happy about this, but like my kids are not inherently, ow, fuck. My kids are not inherently violent kids by any stretch of the imagination. I can't get any of that gold. Which is, you know, which is a blessing. I'm glad that my kids aren't like, yeah, hit him, fuck that guy, arr. But I don't know, if nothing else, I always liked going to ball games because it meant free food. Okay, that hurts. I always just like the idea of getting a hot dog. That's what I'm saying, Hello Little Piggy. Like, I've never forced them to watch a hockey game at home. There's almost never hockey on at our house. But there's just a part of me that wonders why they wouldn't just trust me. Because they both were adamant that they didn't like baseball. And Rory called his Nationals games one of the best days of his life. And they both have reached the point where, like, going to the Squirrels is an instant yes. And they've gotten to the point where they actually understand baseball pretty well. Like, they know what's going on. So you'd think if I was, you'd think they'd just learn from the context clues. Oh, okay. You'd think they just learn by the context clues that if I'm excited about something, that they should just give me the benefit of the doubt and just kind of be on board, you know? It doesn't negate the fact that I've kind of, I love you, Noah. I've kind of let Noah fuck me here. This whole idea of a winter subathon was Noah's idea as a way to get a big push of revenue at the end of the year and to grab some end of the year, sponsorship, you know, situations. So as much as I may want to go to these games, I really have put myself in a place where I can't plan on attending them without instinctively planning on I can't plan on attending them without rooting against my own subathon. Because I don't think it would do what the St. Jude subathon did, but if it did do what the St. Jude subathon did, instead of having the time to go to either of those two hockey games, the subathon would end the day before Christmas Eve. It would end on Christmas Eve, which would be several days after both those hockey games ended. Do I have a minor league hockey team near me? I have to. Minor league hockey East Coast. ECHL? Yeah, man, fucking cookies, whatever. Stuff them right up my ass. teams. Team map. Ugh. Yo, is there any zooming in? Oh, okay, it's Norfolk. Team directory. The Idaho Steelheads. The Norfolk Admirals. It's still about the same drive as DC, but I could stay with my in-laws. The food won't be as good because Norfolk's food scene sucks. The Norfolk Admirals logo is an anchor with a bunch of stars around it. It says Norfolk Admirals underneath it, and then underneath that says professional hockey. It's not a good sign when you have to tell people in your logo that you're a professional hockey team. I do hate having to spell things out for my kids. I just wish that they'd fucking trust me. It's like when Amber and I ask them if they want to watch a movie, and it's like, we know it's like a fucking Oscar-winning film or something like that, and then they try to duck out, and we're like, no, sit your ass down, you're spending family time with us whether you like it or not. And then they get to the end of the movie that we forced them to watch, and they sulked through for a half an hour straight, and they fucking clap. Like, that was a great movie. We're like, yeah, dipshit, we know. There aren't gonna be many movies that we show you that we haven't already seen. And we're sure as shit not gonna show you bad ones. You dummy. I didn't know that you wanted to see the stars. Maybe if you spent time in my stream. Ugh. I have talked about it fucking nonstop for like a half a year. At one point, I was going down there and taking Bree with me and flying Nate in. Honestly, they walked out of Disenchanted and I didn't try to stop them. We forced them to sit through Enchanted. We did not force them to stay through Disenchanted. I didn't realize, I thought the Stars game was this week at the top, off the top of my head.
Of the cave.
I thought the Stars game was this week. I was trying to figure out whether or not I had, oh, okay, that hurt me. I was trying to figure out whether or not I had time to go. I was trying to figure out whether or not I was going to be able to go this week and then subathon next week. But next week is quite literally both the games I could drive to. Thursday and Saturday. Ryan, what's going on, homie? No, it's not this week. It's the 15th and the 17th. I thought we were later on in December than we are. How's this run treating you? It's way better than the first run was. The first run was a nightmare. That said, I'm in kind of a dicey spot right now because I just ate an explosion. I took this electrical status. Oh, God. Yeah. I took this electrical status that pulses electricity through metal, which includes metals holding explosives.